Yeah, cut out Joe. It's great. Joe? Oh, hi, Joe.
You guys might need to come in just a little bit closer too.
How's that?
Almost.
Because I mean, it looks close on here, but on camera, I mean, you guys could still come in like all the way. Move that in the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
They use my elbow. I'm just kidding. Over live.
Yeah, you're live.
Huh? Okay. Oh, you made him go live?
Yeah, he did.
She said, "Go live."
Yeah.
So-
Okay, all
You're
right.
seeing the behind the scenes.
So you guys get to see the first one. So
And then you want the comments, huh?
what? You
It's
got
a
notification?
top.
Oh, private.
You know StreamYard.
I don't use their thing though. Cool.
Hello, everybody. So we're going to get a little started. We had some technical issues with the internet, but please welcome my first panel guests for the day, Matt Benton and Joe Vitale from Devil's Hour Productions. Hello to everyone. Hello to everyone that's in here that is joining us in here as well. You guys have been, I know, Joe, you've been an investigator for a long time, about 30, almost 30 years. Yeah. And then Matt, how long have you been doing this?
10 years.
10 years.
Just hit 10 years a couple months ago.
Awesome. So what's your guys' favorite location that you've been to so far?
Probably Conjuring House
Conjuring
and the
House.
Mackey Mansion.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Conjuring House and Hales Bar Dam.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
When you're talking about this, I mean for activity, because there's some cooler film
That aren't.
locations. Because also being a filmmaker, we have those separate lists.
Yeah.
For activity, though, those are my top two.
For sure. Yeah, because there's some like locations that are very, very cool, but like, maybe don't get as much activity.
great
at them, but
cinematography,
they're like,
but
they
not
look
too
great.
Yes.
So speaking of Conjuring House, you guys did just put out the documentary, The Harrisville Haunting,
Yes.
about the Conjuring House. Do you want to talk a little bit about that to anyone who's watching?
Yeah, we decided to release a full feature film about the Conjuring House. We wanted to get the real history out there and show what we experienced there. Is it truly what they say it is, but when it comes to activity? And from our personal experience, it seems like it definitely did that for us. And you guys can see it firsthand if you watch the film. It's currently on Scare Network TV.tv or Paraflix is where it's at currently, but it will be taken down not too long from now. So I recommend watching it as soon as you can, because in about a couple of weeks it should be down because distributing companies are looking into the film. So
awesome. So without spoiling it too much for the people who haven't seen it, when you guys went to this location, because you guys were looking into the history of the Conjuring House and like how it's been portrayed in film and things like that, and in mass media, was it something that you found to be true or not true?
some true, a lot not.
Yeah.
I should let Joe speak too. Hey, Joe.
I did a lot of research.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of
half truths, kind of like where it's like things get kind of lost in the weeds a little bit. Yeah, for sure. And I feel like that's very common with a lot of paranormal locations, where it's like you kind of have to filter through what the true history is and what the urban legends are, and kind of figure out where you're standing.
I don't understand is like, there's a lot of shows out there that kind of embellish the history or the things that happen, but sometimes the history is just as entertaining, the real history, as whatever they're trying to embellish sometimes. And this is one of those cases. I think like the war that's been happening on that land is already intriguing enough, in my opinion, but they had to add a witch story to it.
Right. Which I take offense to, but I'm just kidding. I was like, oh no, really, don't give any more reasons for that. Like, please don't.
One of the things that I've found is a lot of locations, they tell their story and you go back and you look and it's like, none of this is true.
Yeah,
And
like
people's
you find
names
that
get dragged through the mud.
exactly, and like somebody that's an innocent person that had nothing to do with anything is like turned into like a villain basically, and they're like, and it's like
it's pretty messed up because
nothing
they're
to do.
literally destroying her gravesite over and over again just because of the Conjuring film, making it
Right.
making her out to be some evil person.
Right. And that's a shame, because that's like the negative side unfortunately, of like when things get portrayed, especially like I'm sure as you guys know in like media and in movies and things like that, especially in fictional, it's a fictional movie. Like that's one of those things that people I think tend to lose focus on.
Based is very loosely based.
Yeah, very loosely based.
It's
on,
like the land and the family is real.
Yeah,
There you go.
those are the two real things.
Officially based on true story.
Well, when they say based on a true story anytime in a film, I'm always like, that's about like 10% of like the true story is about 10% of that, and then the rest of it's like we added stuff to make it entertaining.
Yeah.
So
And I've had that happen to me. I appeared on Kindred Spirits for Hell's Bar Dam, and I really watched what I said, and it didn't matter.
Oh.
And they took everything that I said and
clipped it and edited it to make it sensational.
Yeah.
He just called him out.
You heard it here first. So we'll go ahead and take any questions from you guys. I'll try to keep an eye on the chat to see if I can see any questions come in. So does anyone have any questions, anything for Matt and Joe? Cody has one.
I do.
Yes.
How long did it take you to film the documentary? From
So
start to finish?
there was about 3 or 4 film days. Yeah, 4 just to film it. The post-production is a whole nother story of complications. One corrupted file I had to deal with, like a lot of legal stuff, because I pay for all the music so I could legally show it and pay so people can actually buy the documentary. You have to do it legally, and so and I'm probably one of the most OCD editors you ever meet. So it takes a bit longer for me to edit something because I want it almost perfect. And then even there has to be that point to where you're going to be like, I have this, like, this is it for now. I know there's like a month from now and I have something I want to change. That's just how it is as an editor. If an editor, to keep improving, you need to keep advancing and changing, and your ideas change all the time. So I just save it.
At some point, you have to like kind of let it go and go.
Yeah, just
if
let
I
it
just
go.
keep
Let the
going, I'm
project
never
go.
going to put this out. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it finally got to that point. We got the ending. I did so many fixes. He knows I did a lot of fixes. I literally color corrected part of the film just because I found a creepier look. And I was like, I want to recolor correct the whole entire film again. So I because I just found something that worked better, and I literally did that when I was pretty much done. And so I was like, oh well. Yeah, that's something that happens.
There was also computer issues and editing software issues as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was a nightmare for what was happening. I had 80 something layers.
That's a lot of layers.
For this project. I wish I could show you how big,
How many tracks
how
you
many
had?
tracks
Yeah.
there was. There shouldn't probably even be 80 layers. I think it's that I do things color corrected in certain ways and for different shots that I had so many different layers. So I just need organization, I think.
And then there's one more question. I did see one come through on the chat that was Sabra. Looks like she had a question. Will this next documentary take as long as the first one?
Well, we have a lot more footage to review because we're having a full-on DVR system for this next one.
Okay.
For about 16 cameras.
It will take a long time to go through everything.
Yeah.
We
Probably hire some people.
He's like, I might outsource
This
this
one's going
one.
to be also higher budget,
Okay.
and a lot of familiar faces will be in this one. Just let you know.
Just
Just a little
teaser for you
tease
guys.
right there. No details are being released on this next one, but I'm going to say it's going to be better than the last because of what has already been captured. Some things were already filmed, and more is being unleashed. So.
Awesome. Well, we're bringing in mics, so we'll have mics for the next one, but hopefully you guys can hear them just fine because we pulled the computer really close so you guys can see everything. If no one else has any questions, Sean has a question.
I have a question. When is your next documentary?
So we're filming next year. We're going to confirm dates. We're filming about 10 days is the plan. And then so it might be towards a more time period of where I want the weather to be for my vision. So I want it to look creepier and darker. It's also, this is going to be a very stylized film. So I want to make it different than the last one I did. So
the next one is going to be very different.
It's going to be darker.
I've seen the poster. It looks really cool.
Yeah, the poster's already been made, and a few people have seen it and
Yeah.
got some.
I got a
good
sneak peek.
Got some good responses.
Well, if there's no other questions, oh, there's a question back there.
This is for Joe. So last night, for example, we kept having 7 pop up,
Mhm.
and we kind of talked a little bit about it. But how often have you seen it affect your guys' investigations?
Well, I'll speak for myself, but it's weird. It's on and off, and it doesn't just happen to me. It does happen to other people who have run into this thing that likes to call itself 7. Sometimes it'll completely take over an investigation. A lot of times, nothing. Don't hear anything from it. But it's not fun. That's for sure.
So even in the film, there's something involving 7 in the film that was mentioned by a medium, and sure enough, things kept popping up. And then there's something in the film that I want to talk about now that I didn't notice, that isn't in the film now because I didn't notice until later. So there's a book that kept being moved at the Conjuring house, and it was bookmarked at 7-7. So that was a little weird.
That is a little strange.
And I didn't notice that until the film was finished. So that's one of those things I wish I could have added into the film,
Right.
but it's out now. So
But you're like, but there it is. But then you got that little tidbit, little
Yeah,
extra
probably put in,
director's
like-
cut,
yeah.
pop-up video kind of fact.
And I mean, the place where we plan on doing our next documentary, supposedly people have been getting it there too. So we'll have to see.
So we'll have to see what we
I
get.
call it the investigator demon because it feels like I know so many investigators that talk about 7. I'm like,
That's true.
Follows
That is
you
true.
guys around specifically.
Eric.
Yeah.
And
Eric, Miranda,
Bob.
Alex, yeah, all kinds of people.
All right. So to keep on our schedule, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Do you guys have anything else you would like to plug? Definitely, obviously, your social media.
Devil's Hour Productions YouTube channel. Please subscribe. There will be other content behind the scenes and also episodes. But when I'm in the editing process of the film, usually the episodes take a little bit longer to release. So because the film is the priorities.
Awesome. And then, Joe, you have
Entity 7
Entity 7
Paranormal on
Paranormal.
YouTube.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. We'll go ahead and wrap things here, and we'll bring our next guest up, which is Central Utah Paranormal. So this live stream will end, and we will start the next one, and we will just kind of do that all day on this channel. Thank you guys so much, guys. Thanks, guys.